Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interviewed Mahima. Mahima is Europe's #1 self-mastery mentor, mindset trainer, international best-selling author, an award-winning speaker and founder of the Mahima Mindset. She's the first Black self-mastery mentor to have spoken at the Harvard Club of Boston in July 2018. And in 2017, she got to share the stage with Richard Branson, a business development event in Singapore. She was born and brought up in Zimbabwe, but has spent her whole adult life traveling around the world, teaching her unique brand of mindful leadership. She has so much good stuff to share with the world around meditation and mindset and turning your life around, and I can't wait for this interview. So, hi Mahima, great to have you on the show.
Such a joy to be here. Thank you, Anna, for having me in this beautiful space to share and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great. I've read a lot about you, and I know that you're like a self-mastery mentor. Thousands of different meditations that you have helped people with, really, within their mindset and stuff.
So thousands of hours of meditation, but using the same basic strategies. So thousands of hours, but not thousands of actual different meditations.
Yeah.
But that is, yes, that is my superpower, to be able to support people using techniques like meditation to get deeper into self-awareness and open their hearts and feel more stillness and joy in their everyday life.
Yeah, I love it, because meditation is, I suppose, it's fairly still new to me. I shared just before we kind of click record a little bit about my story, and I know a lot of the listeners know about my story. But I always talk about my 3 pillars, and the kind of links into this podcast. My 3 pillars are freedom in love, really around self-care and self-love, really, as well as obviously the love that we give and share to other people, but it's mainly focused around that. Freedom in money, because, when I was struggling financially, it wasn't great, and then freedom in mind. And I think from reading a lot about you, you may be able to relate to those 3 pillars, because those have given me kind of equilibrium in my life, really.
Absolutely. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, self-love is really the key to starting to feel more joy, more lightness, right? And a lot of us are putting that responsibility for our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being onto our environments, right?
Yeah.
Expect our work colleagues and our atmosphere at work to support us to feel that, when really the work is inner, as opposed to expecting that situation to give you those feelings of fulfillment, of confidence, of self-love, of success, and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's really about that inner journey of really taking full ownership, of understanding that even around your money, nothing's going to change until something changes in here and in here, right?
Yeah.
For many people, that's hard to believe, right, due to the victim mindset. So we first have to acknowledge that there is such a thing as victim mindset, being in that thought process that it's somehow your destiny to not have a lot of money, or your social standing due to your education, or the people where you live right now, or the school that you go to, or whatever the reasons that we can narrow our belief systems about ourselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So being brought up in Zimbabwe, being brought up in Africa, where I think the poverty is on a very high level, Even now, as we are speaking, there's just so much extraordinary levels of poverty that go on there. And so it would have been easy for me to say, well, I only have O-level education. I only, I couldn't, my mom only earned whatever, $500 a month as a nurse. And so, if I can earn that or slightly more, that would be amazing, right? So it's very easy to fall complacent into what you think is your birth, situation or circumstances around
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
upbringing. Mm-hmm.
And so how did you, share with the listeners how just your journey really on how you created what all the fabulous stuff that you're doing today?
So I had a pivotal moment that was with 23 years old when I found myself divorced. I found that during the time that I was married, I had all of the trimmings that should make a happy me, and I was miserable, right? So beautiful house, car, swimming pool. We even had a jacuzzi in our little garden there in Zimbabwe. And I could do whatever I wanted. I did art. I went horse riding. I traveled in the world, and I was miserable all throughout this process, because of my trauma from my childhood, right?
Yeah.
Being emotionally abused, physically abused. In back in the 80s, you were disciplined through, your parents beating the crap out of you. Okay. You weren't just like asked nicely not to do something. You'd get like a slap across the face. You get your ears pulled. Once my grandmother even beat me with the collar of a dog. Right, she pulled off the collar and had those little studs on it, and she just hammered me with that thing. So, needless to say that you find out when you're in a deep, intimate relationship all of these traumatic things that have now caused
You've suppressed
yeah, and it all starts coming out. Yeah. Lack of knowledge of my superpower. What am I really gifted at? What is my talent? I call it your genius, right? I have like a 7-step formula that we take people on in our campus to hack their system. And apart from knowing who you are internally, it's also good to know what your gifts are externally, right? What are the things that you have a natural raw talent, and you could make that talent into something more by putting effort and energy into the direction of that talent, right?
Yeah.
So so there I was with this marriage situation, pretty broken up after we broke up. And a friend told me, go to India and work on yourself. And I had no clue about meditation. I had no clue about personal growth. I came from a highly religious family. I was Roman Catholic. I had all the weight of the world of how, money, nice things, they don't bring you happiness. So that was a good starting point for my meditation practice, actually, because, I wasn't living in the fantasy of if only I could meet a wonderful guy, if only I had this, and if only I had that. Like, I knew that all of that stuff was not the answer to joy. So I think that's why, when I found meditation and it found me, we became, tight, but, we became tight because I could explore this world and I could start healing some of my childhood traumas, right? Those voices in my head that said, you're stupid, you're not good enough. Look, you failed your marriage, you're not lovable, all those voices that, I heard people telling me these things during my childhood, because we all have a lot of pain inside of us, right? And if we don't work on that pain will come out and we will start to project it onto others.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is what we do, right? And so, yeah, so that's kind of like how I started having different thoughts and feelings by allowing myself through this meditation practice to start understanding I could literally change my mindset, change the way I was thinking, feeling, and therefore the actions that I was taking.
Yeah.
So it was a deep process of self awakening.
Yeah.
I went on for 5 years. I went extensively on, I call it the guru trip. So I was really dedicated. I showed up. I did the meditations. I sang the mantras. I did the whole thing. And then when my teacher died, I was 27 years old, and it became clear to me that I had something to share because I transformed so much in those 5 years that I dedicated myself to learning everything I could about my inner world and how that was affecting my external environment. I decided to start teaching. So I gave my first meditation class in Bali, and that led me to be invited all over Europe. So, so I went from Bali to Germany, Switzerland, Italy, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and people were just like inviting me to come and teach. And that was the beginning with 27 of my self-mastery mentor role as a teacher,
Yeah.
guide, and
Yeah.
mentor. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. And I can really relate to a lot of that through kind of like the journey that I've been on because, I had to spend a lot of time. I think that in life, because I was the breadwinner in my marriage that turned, quite toxic, and we had everything, you know, you know, lovely house, no financial problems, and on the outside, everyone would have perceived that I was happy.
Yeah.
Um, but I had to do a similar thing where I had to spend a lot of time on my own. I think it is that awakening, isn't it? You've got. It's not external things that are going to bring you happiness. It's spending that time on you, and if there's trauma there, working through that to really discover who you really are and to love the things that you maybe don't like about yourself as well. That we all have behaviors that we're just going to either change or accept.
Exactly. I love that. Yes, things that you either change or accept. Yeah. And
Exactly.
it is a bit of useless energy trying to change yourself,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, you can't have the focus be that. What was so powerful for me was I could focus on connecting to what I call the soul, spirit, whatever word you want to use for it. But that's the power of a meditation practice, is it allows you to feel the expansion, to feel calm, to feel peaceful, regardless of what's happening
Yeah,
externally, right? So then you start to understand that how you feel inside of yourself is not dependent on other people being nice to you or good things
yeah,
happening, all of that. Now, do you still feel the pain or loss of external things going wrong? Absolutely. You just process it a lot faster,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you understand that you came into this world with nothing, you're going to leave with nothing. And really, you're here to just experience this dimension of life. You're here for the experience more than for accumulating
yeah.
wealth or
Yeah, I like that way.
accumulating
I like that way.
accolades.
Yeah, I love that way of analysing, of looking at it. That's really not. Yeah, I totally get that. It's
Yes.
really interesting because a meditation came to me when I was really stressed out. I also had a whole legal battle that went on for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I was like not sleeping, and even though I was like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. The subconscious, like I was waking up in hot sweats, even though I was thinking
Mhm.
I was fine, because my way of coping was to keep busy. All
Yes.
all this sort of internal things was happening. And I thought meditation was a bit woo-woo up until then. I thought meditation, I I did science at uni, so I was like, a scientist really. And so I'm like, oh, that's a load of rubbish. It wasn't until people kept saying to me, you really need to have a look at this, meditation thing. And meditation doesn't have to be. I always thought it had to be if it was sat there cross-legged. Um,
Mhm.
and it's, it can be anything you want it to be. You can do meditation wherever and however. whatever is good for you. But so it's lovely having you here, because I'm like in my head and just nodding to everything you said, because it just feels like I went through this whole experience. And I'm really curious to hear how you can help people, because I know you mentioned you've got your 7-step process. But before we get to that, for anyone who's listening to this right now, who could be feeling stuck or kind of dealing with a lot of trauma, maybe like we've both had in the past, what would you say is the first thing to do, or what would you say that they could start to do?
Okay, so you need to go to the mahimamindset.com
Yeah.
and get my free membership, which will give you access to a 21-day meditation challenge, which is super duper easy to do. It's just 15 minutes a day. It will give you a topic. So I hack topics like love, like time, like confidence, right? So each day is a different topic that you just get to reflect on. And it's about growing your inner muscle to choose to lean into love, lightness, happiness, joy. And you also get my 7 days reprogram your mind, which is understanding how powerful this voice in your head is. And unless you can get a hold of what that voice is telling you, like a deep dive into really understanding, it's creating your emotional state. Right? The voices in your head create your emotional state. So if you're feeling angry, frustrated, confused, lost, low, it's mostly because of what thoughts are being generated. So in my 7 days reprogram your mind, we're going to start generating a different perspective on how you see yourself in the world.
Brilliant.
And then you also can get my inner peace formula, which is in my international best-selling book. This is all free. It costs absolutely nothing. And I want to give that as a gift to everybody here. So it's 3 things: the 7 days reprogram your mind, the 20-day 1-day meditation challenge, and the international best-selling book, which has the 3-step inner peace formula. Brilliant. So this will equip you to start in a very easy way, because it's 10 minutes, it's 15 minutes a day on both of the programs, right? And the book is just easy to read. Start getting new ways of thinking and feeling. I also highly recommend you to find a coach that is alive, right? I find that makes a big difference, to be able to be in the presence, on or offline, doesn't matter, of a teacher that you can ask questions on, that you can hear their stories, that you can understand how they're like you. They built a new way of experiencing the world, right? And that story that they keep telling, like my coaches and my teachers, they showed me the truth about who I was through their eyes, through their life story, through their teachings, right? And I could ask them questions, and I could see and reflect in lifetime what was going on, right? So I think it's very important to have a teacher. If you want to learn about driving, you wouldn't just jump in a car and start trying to drive, right?
Okay.
You'd be like, I'm going to get someone to show me, right? So do the same thing with personal growth. Get someone to show you the ropes. It just makes it go so much faster.
Exactly. It saves people time, because you do it on your own. You go around in circles, don't you?
Exactly. Exactly.
You need that roadmap. You need that roadmap, or like that support. It's just
exactly.
So thank you for all those gifts. So what was remind us of the website again, because we will put it into the for everybody watching us on YouTube. Hello, you'll be able to see that in the comment section below. And for everybody that's listening to us, you'll be able to see it in the show notes. But just remind us of what that.
So it's my name, Mahima, Mahima. I always say mama with a hi.
Yeah, that's good.
So, Mahima. Okay. And it's the mahimamindset.com. Very easy. And you can put /free, or you can just go to the mahimamindset.com and you will see it right there. It will say, join our free membership. And in that free membership are those 3 products that I just told you about. So
brilliant. Well, thank you for that. That's really, really useful. So I'm assuming then that you can be that coach for people as well.
Absolutely. I think that you know when you have a voice that triggers something in your heart, and now you just need to honor that and respect that. Yeah. And it's not just with a coach, it's with life in general, right?
Mm.
There are people that you just feel these are my people. This is what
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, yeah. And most people ignore those things and follow the head, right? So look for, everything you ask for, you will receive, right? So if you say, look, I want a personal growth mentor, boom, listen, I'm here. Okay. Maybe I'm that person. Explore a bit further, check it out, right? Get these products. You'll know soon enough because you'll feel it that this is resonance. There's a resonance. There's just something. That's what happened to me. These teachers just came into my life and I was able to go, I love what they're saying. I love
You just
what
get that synchronicity, don't you? It's like that synchronicity, synergy. You're like you say, these are my people, and you just you want more.
exactly.
I know I've definitely had that on my journey, and so you're so right. So how do people? I think the first step would be to go and get the free meditation.
And if you say, look, I want something else, then hey, we have a lot of stuff on offer, right? We do like 3-day events live. We have an online event coming up. I don't know when this is going to go live, but it's in February.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-day event that's like on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we can be live together online if you want to learn more about, I say this is perfect for people that are looking to pivot from a life that no longer serves you to create a life that is more in alignment with your values and what you're about, right? That pivot could be something that needs to take place in your relationships with your family, right? Or your husband. The pivot could be something that a work situation. Many people that come to us, it's because they figured out through listening to me that they're not making money doing what they love. They're just surviving and they're just making money. And they're in that mode of, I have no other choice. I need to pay my bills and I have to do this job. That's the thing. That's the thought process. I have to do it. I have no other choice. I imagine we could start changing those thoughts. And I've been doing this for 2.5 decades with people that are super entrenched in there's no other way, right? And they work for literally within, depends on the person, but I've had people come to my 3-day and completely pivot from this. Say I've been completely holding myself back, and of course I can change. Yes. What are my passions? We get you to think, what are your true passions? What are the things you really love to do? And if you think about just about any passion that you can come up with, someone is making money with that passion. So if they can do it, you can definitely do it, right? But it's a question of giving yourself permission to do that pivot. And the thing about pivoting is you need guidance. You need a tribe. You need to be with other people that are doing pivots as well, because then you see people like yourself, having these massive changes, and that gives you faith as well that, oh God, if she can do it, I can definitely do it, right? And so that's the power of the tribe, of the community. And we have an international community that it's really cool to be a part of other people transforming and getting that energy and guidance from them, and of course from the coaches at the Mahima Mindset as well. So yes, that's
an online event. I know that you've traveled globally, haven't you? Are you coming to the UK at any point?
I would love to come back to the UK. I have been there already, and we have to see how it goes, because now we are focusing on our online pivot, which we've all been forced to do after COVID happened, right? So I'm not sure how extensively we will go back on the road, but I would love to come back to England.
Well, if you do, you'll have to hit me up, or you'll have to let me take you out for lunch or something.
That'd be lovely.
It'd be great to meet you.
But we do live events in Zurich still. So if anyone feels like Zurich, we'll have a live event in March. It's our 3-day Own Your Superstar training. So
the 3-day event sounds really good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's like people can't believe how much transformation they get out of this event, because we do a lot of what we call activations. So we ask powerful questions, but then we do these exercises where the real, I call it, cellular level transformation takes place. Because dialogue can only get you so far. And then at one point you have to let that go, and you just really have to find a whole other way of communicating. Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah, no, it sounds really good. It sounds really good. And I think even, there'll be people listening to this who are looking to pivot, like might be feeling stuck, or kind of in a, like you say, in a job, maybe wanting to start a business, or maybe you've had a life event, like, like we both had with the divorce, or it could be like something to do with your health. I think sometimes gives you that wake up call, doesn't it? If you
Yes.
go through a health condition, you turn direction, and time becomes more important and things like that. But there'll also be people who, I know a lot of people follow me that already are on that online business journey. I think sometimes I've noticed this within myself, that it's important to keep nourishing the soul and keep learning and connecting with different people and growing within our journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, there's no, like, the one lesson I've learned out of, I think the biggest lesson I've learned is always have a coach. Always have somebody guiding you, right? Now, you can have a moment where, for example, I'm having a moment, okay, where I've been like intensively coached for like 5 years, right? Where I've been, just taking the guidance of my coaches, learning, growing. And now I feel like this year, I don't want to hear any coachy voice. I just need to be with myself, and I need to there's so much that I've been taught. I need to implement.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to implement the teachings, or else I feel like I'm just becoming a consumer. You just consume, consume, consume. But are you using that wisdom they're teaching you to truly transform your life? And so I feel like I'm in an integration phase where I need to integrate all of these teachings. Now, I already integrated a lot, and that's why I was so happy to be in that intensive, like 5-year period of really being like hardcore coached, world-class coaches, right? I mean, was it last year or the year before? I invested 100K in a coach, right? And and that's 100K going out of my bank account to a coach's bank account. Okay. And that means you need to show up to that coaching big time.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think the higher you invest, the more you actually make sure it happens.
absolutely, I totally believe.
It's obviously been a higher, but I know I've noticed that on my journey. The higher ones, it's like you're showing up and making sure you're accountable to get it done, because you've been
100%, 100%. And that's why I always say to people, if you really believe in yourself, invest big, invest in the right people, big,
yeah.
yeah. So that's the way. Get the coaching, get someone kick your ass, get someone call you on your bullshit, get someone say, hey, come on, seriously, what are you saying? Seriously, what are you doing? Seriously, that's bullshit. That's the best thing you can pay for. Okay. And then giving you the tools like, hey, try this, try that. What's your negative belief system? What's your self-sabotage patterns, right?
Yeah.
And that allowed me to grow my business 3,500% in 3 years, having that level of high level coaching. So yeah, I totally believe in finding help. If you don't know how to do something, find somebody who does know how to do it and invest in them teaching you how to do it. This is the best thing you can do, to just not spend 10 years unnecessarily suffering trying to do something someone could
Go round in circles and just not getting anywhere. Yeah, exactly. I think everybody listening to this should just go and check out that free resource you gave, because just by having a 21-day meditation, I know there was all the book and the what was the other thing?
7 days to reprogram your mind.
7 days there was all of that as well, but just the 21-day meditation thing, especially for people who've not done meditation, or even if you dabble a little bit, I think it's such a valuable resource that you've offered everybody. And then you can see all the other goodness that Mahima has got, available to help you, and her events, and maybe looking at mentoring and all that kind of stuff. So I'd encourage everybody to do that, because why not? Why not?
Thank you so much, Anna, for supporting that process. I would love to get to know you. And yes, the thing is this, we need to make this world a better place. It
Yeah,
starts with what's going on in our own hearts. What do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What are you putting out in the world? And trust me, it's not easy working on yourself, but it's worth it. It
yeah,
is
absolutely.
worth it because you get to create on levels that you only dream. Like I know that even my dreams didn't go that far, if I'm really honest, right? Being brought up in Zimbabwe with poverty, with apartheid, right? I did tell that moment with my Swiss husband where I had this luxury life, but I moved on with my life, and I didn't take any of that luxury with me. Like
Yeah,
it stayed with him, right? And but he was very generous and did give me I think, what was it? It was like $50,000 or something, which was like the most money I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's what I invested in staying in India for 5 years, learning everything I could about personal growth. And I remember my family going berserk, like, why aren't you
doing,
coming?
yeah.
Like, how can you be just spending that money? You should come and invest it.
House.
And yeah, exactly. A house. And I am so glad. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life, to invest in me, to invest
Exactly.
in healing my trauma, to invest in learning how to be resilient. My teacher had a great way of saying it. He said, an inner peace, a love and a joy that's not dependent on external circumstances, events, or people. And I invested in learning about that.
Yeah.
And do I still feel pain and sadness from things that happen? Absolutely. But I can process it much faster and move through it and not feel the
Not
toxicity
let it
of
hold
it.
you, not let
Yeah,
it sort of like overwhelm you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I
yeah, yeah,
can totally relate to that. And
yeah.
India is funny. I nearly went to India last year, and I nearly went the year of the pandemic. Last year the dates didn't fit because I source products from China and different places. I've been focusing a lot on sustainable products like bamboo products, and India is really great for that. And I thought, while I'm there, I want to try and get one of those Indian hot oil massages. I think I'm
Yes.
in the south of India, but I'm planning a retreat for this year. It's going to just be in the UK.
Oh, that's lovely.
But I'd love to do one in like Bali or India. So I'm really envious of your 5 years in India.
Oh, it was
You had
glorious.
some really good experiences.
It was so good. I can only recommend it to anyone. But I did like I would stay there for, I think the first stint was 18 months. Then I went back home because I wanted to check when I'm not there in that atmosphere.
Yeah,
Am I grounding? Am I really learning anything? So it was always important for me to go away for like 2, 3 months, come back, spend like another 9, 10 months, and then I went to New York. So I was always taking myself out of that environment for like 2, 3 months to just really see how I was integrating all of this wisdom that I was learning there, and then witnessing real world, yeah, because in that bubble, right, you're in that learning process. It is a bubble of light and love and good times kind of thing, right? But what I learned is you can create what you want. So if like if you want that life of freedom, you can create it. So you just need to start to understand and get clear. I say to my students, get clear. What do you want? What is your what? Most people ask what, how before they know what. And
mm,
that's the problem,
yeah,
right? So, yeah, like, how should that happen? Like, you don't need to know how, just figure out the what. Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, because the how is like, it's the magic of life, isn't it? Like, I want to meet a beautiful man. Okay, great. Get specific. What is it about that man? Get clear about what exactly you're trying to manifest. I manifested my husband. I was super clear. I had so much experience that I knew exactly what to ask for. One of the things was he had to have no kids because I wanted him to be free like me, to travel around the world. And of course, if he had kids, that would lock him down to a
it does.
location.
Yeah, it does.
Also, quite frankly and honestly, didn't want to deal with any ex-wife and kids or anything. Like I was 20 fucking seven. I was like, I just want a guy who's there for me, period. Right. So that's
Any
important.
baggage, no baggage.
No baggage. That was one of my non-negotiables. Then he needed to be into personal growth. This was non-negotiable. Like he needed to, like I wouldn't need to explain meditation to him or, or,
There's a guy that I connected with online who does a lot of coaching for men. And he's like, if you're on any online dating sites, the first question you need to ask someone is what what personal growth have they been working on? What have they done have they had a coach or have they had a therapist or anything like that? Because if someone hasn't, then he believes everybody should, and I agree with him, but it's quite hard to find everybody that has, because a lot of people haven't.
No, there's a lot of people who haven't, but hey, that's not what you're trying to manifest. You want to manifest your stuff, right? So don't worry about that. Just get clear about what you want, right? So yeah, he had to rework. I had a whole bunch of stuff. Long story short, boom, everything what I asked for. Yeah, and that's how I could recognize him when he came into my life, because he might not have come in the picture and form that I thought, because I didn't put any superficials on there. I didn't go like he needs to have a six-pack with blue eyes, right?
Exactly.
So he came into my life a little bit round, a little bit like not as fashionable as I would like him to be and so forth. But that didn't matter to me, because I knew that on the things that mattered, we locked in, right? Yeah, and of course now he's totally into fashion. He's totally like, there's so many things you can transform into, right? He lost all that weight, and that's like all fixable, like
yeah.
So but people focus on that, they make stories out of that, right?
Yeah. No, that's so good. No, because it reminds me a bit like, when you get a new car, and say it's a red car, red BMW, and then all the time you've ordered it and you're waiting for a few weeks for it to arrive, and all the time you just keep seeing red BMWs.
Yeah.
That's how I see sometimes manifestation, because it's like you clear on what the goal is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know all those things, and like you say, it's not the superficial things. Obviously, I'm just giving that as an example, but it's the qualities of, because it's like when people focus on all of that looks thing. Well, what happens when someone ages and changes their looks?
Yeah, I mean, people even go with hair. Like I like blondes. Like, I mean, sorry, good luck to finding a happy life there, right? Like blonde has nothing to do with living with joy, with kindness, with respect, with wanting the same things, creating a vision where you're both pulling in the same direction, having joy and inner peace in your day-to-day life. Sorry, but that's just not going to cut it, right?
Exactly. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed this interview, because it's been great getting to know you, and the synergy and synchronicity with us two is phenomenal. I'm definitely going to go and check out your 21-day meditation myself.
Thank you so much.
There's one question I always ask everybody when I interview them, because it's the Freedom Podcast. What does freedom mean to you? Because I know it means different things to different people, and obviously there's no right or wrong answer. And actually, I think sometimes when we ask it, if someone had asked me what freedom was 20 years ago, I probably would have said something completely different than I do now. So what does freedom mean to you, Mahima?
I'm going to repeat what I've already said here today. Freedom is knowing an inner peace, a love, and a joy that is not dependent on external circumstances, events, or people.
Yeah.
That for me is freedom. Freedom is knowing who you are in the core and being able to rest, rejuvenate, restore, act, think, and operate from that place of self.
Yeah. Brilliant. Love it. It's so spot on. Thank you ever so much for coming on the show. Everybody go and check out Mahima's website. If you can't see, it's in the link in the comments. And yeah, it's been an absolute joy. You've been so inspiring, and really value you sparing the time to come on the show.
Thank you so much, Anna. And doing this, like, I just love to meet beautiful women, telling their story, and helping others to reach their goals and what they love. So it's just a pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey. Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.